Introduction. Today we're starting with the basics of international business. International business is the process where organizations focus on global resources and global objectives, meaning they don't think only inside one country. They think in terms of worldwide opportunities and threats. It includes all kinds of commercial transactions, private and government, like sales, investments, logistics, and transportation, when these happen between two or more countries, beyond political boundaries. Now that we have the big picture, let's go to the formal definitions. Definitions. Let's look at a few definitions to understand international business more clearly. One definition says it's a field of management that deals with business activities that cross national borders. Another definition describes it as all business transactions that involve two or more countries. Another explains it as transactions carried out across borders by corporations and individuals. So the common point is simple. International business means cross-border business activity. With that clear, let's understand the nature. What makes international business different? Nature of international business. International business involves commercial activity, but it includes at least two countries, and it operates on many bases: trade, investment, services, and more. There are language differences, more physical risk compared to domestic business, and also political risk. Companies can be proactive or reactive when going global. Government intervention is common, payments often happen in foreign currency, and overall it's different from domestic business in complexity and uncertainty. Now we know what it is and why it's different, so let's see the objectives, why international business exists. Objectives of international business. The objectives include integrating economies and offering access to new markets. It also helps the interchange of ideas, services, and capital across the world. And it supports the mobility of factors of production like labor, capital, and technology so they can move where they are needed most. Now the next question is, why do firms actually internationalize? Reasons of internationalization. Internationalization happens mainly due to two types of reasons. Pull factors are proactive reasons, where firms are attracted to opportunities. Push factors are reactive reasons, where firms are forced by pressure in the home market. Let's expand these reasons with a broader explanation. Other reasons. Other reasons include growth and profitability and achieving economies of scale, meaning producing more at lower cost per unit. It helps spread risk across markets, access imported inputs, and benefit from unique products or services. It creates marketing opportunities, spreads R&D costs, improves resource utilization, and strengthens competitiveness. It supports quality improvements, free markets, living standards, global cooperation, and even peace-building through interdependence. Once a company decides to internationalize, the next step is understanding how they enter foreign markets. Internationalizing business. A common path of international expansion starts with licensing, then moves to indirect export, and then direct export. After that, a company may do local packaging and/or assembly in the foreign market. At the highest level is FDI, foreign direct investment, where the company invests directly in the host country. Along with entry methods, companies also follow different mindsets in managing international operations. Approaches of international business. There are 4 approaches. Ethnocentric means the home country is seen as superior and the company assumes foreign markets are similar. Polycentric means each host country is unique, so management is adapted country by country. Regiocentric means the company manages by regions, seeing similarities within a region. Geocentric is a global approach, where the company sees the world as one market and balances similarities and differences across countries. Now, let's discuss the advantages of international business. Advantages of international business. International business helps maximize resource utilization and can bring stability in prices. It supports economic growth and economies of scale and encourages industrialization. It earns foreign exchange, strengthens international cooperation, and reduces costs through modern techniques. It improves transport and communication, raises living standards, increases employment, and boosts technology upgrades. It also creates broader competition and can help firms escape intense domestic competition. But international business also comes with challenges. Disadvantages of international business. International business can increase costs due to logistics, compliance, and operations. Firms face foreign regulations and standards, delays in payments, and complex organizational structures. There can be exhaustion of natural resources, cultural differences, strong host country competition, and national controls. Sometimes there's lack of support from the home country, dependence on foreign markets, and potential losses for agricultural countries. To make the distinction clearer, let's compare international and domestic business. Difference between international business and domestic business. International business has wider scope, FDI, licensing, franchising, and trade, while domestic business stays within one country. Benefits in international business can go to both nations and firms, while domestic benefits are comparatively smaller. International markets allow risk diversification, while domestic markets have limited scope. International business can influence political relations and must follow customs and tariffs. Domestic business has fewer restrictions. International business shares technology globally, while domestic business mainly adopts locally. Trade restrictions are bigger internationally. Domestic has fewer. Entry modes like export, licensing, franchising, and joint ventures exist in international business. Domestic business is usually easier to start and operate. Now we move into a major concept that drives international business: globalization. Globalization. Globalization means integrating the world into one large market. It includes international integration through exchange of products, ideas, and cultural aspects. It also refers to how investment funds and businesses move beyond national markets to global markets, making the world more interconnected. Since globalization is broad, we can break it down into key components. Components of globalization. Globalization has 4 key components: globalization of markets, production, investment, and technology. Together, these explain why firms sell globally, produce globally, invest globally, and innovate globally. Now, let's see what causes globalization. Factors causing globalization. Key factors include the expansion of technology and liberalization of cross-border trade and resource movement. Support services for international business have developed. Consumer pressures have grown, competition has increased globally, political situations have changed, and cross-national cooperation has expanded. Because globalization increases international activity, firms and investors often compare countries to decide where to do business. Country attractiveness. Country attractiveness is a multidisciplinary idea linking economics, finance, law, and political science. It means measuring and comparing the appeal of countries competing for investment. Countries are evaluated using variables like GDP growth, tax rates, capital repatriation rules, and more. The key point is that attractiveness depends on balancing multiple realities. Country attractiveness continued. A country's attractiveness depends on balancing benefits, costs, and risks of doing business there. A market may look profitable, but if risks and costs are too high, attractiveness drops. To judge this properly, companies use several criteria. Criteria for assessing country attractiveness. Main criteria include market potential and the country's political, legal, and financial environment. Marketing support infrastructure also matters. Brand or franchise strength relative to competitors is important too. Finally, companies assess the fit between the market and the firm's policies, goals, and resources. Now we zoom out and look at the bigger setting companies operate in: the international business environment. International business environment. The business environment has layers. The macro environment includes political/legal, sociocultural, economic, and natural/technological forces. The micro or meso environment includes competitors, customers, suppliers, and intermediaries. Inside the firm is the internal environment: people, money, materials, methods, machinery, stakeholders, and more. Let's begin with the political and government environment. Political and government environment. The political environment strongly impacts international marketing and business activities. Government controls can encourage business through support or discourage it through bans, restrictions, or strict regulation. So for international business, government behavior can become either an opportunity or a major barrier. To understand the political environment better, we need to know how political systems are classified. Classification of political system. Political systems can be classified by governance style, such as parliamentary government or absolutist systems. They can also be classified by party structure, two-party, multi-party, single-party, or dominated one-party systems. Another classification is by economic system, communist theory, socialist theory, and capitalist theory. These systems shape rules, rights, and business freedom. Key aspects in political system. Two important dimensions are individualism versus collectivism, whether society prioritizes individual freedom or group goals, and democracy versus totalitarianism, whether power is distributed through democratic institutions or concentrated under strict control. These factors directly affect business rules, ownership rights, and freedom in markets. Now, let's shift to the economic environment. Economic environment. The economic environment includes external factors in the market and broader economy that influence business. It's divided into the microeconomic environment, which affects company-level decision-making, and the macroeconomic environment, which impacts the whole economy and all participants. Let's start with macroeconomic factors. Macroeconomic factors. Macroeconomic influences are broad and affect the entire economy directly or indirectly. These include interest rates, taxes, inflation, currency exchange rates, savings rates, unemployment, and recession. If these change, business costs, consumer demand, and profitability also change. Now we narrow down to microeconomic factors. Microeconomic factors. Microeconomic factors influence how a particular business makes decisions and are narrower than macro factors. Examples include market size, demand, supply, competitors, suppliers, and the distribution chain, such as wholesalers and retail stores. To assess a market properly, companies often look at preliminary indicators. Preliminary economic indicators. Firms assess demand size through income levels, inflation, and consumption behavior. They look at cost of production through availability of human and physical resources, infrastructure networks, and fiscal, monetary, and industrial policies. They also consider how smoothly income and profit can be repatriated, often depending on the strength of the external sector. Another major area in economics is understanding the type of economic system a country follows. Economic systems. There are three major economic systems. A planned economy has social ownership, centralized planning, and focuses on social welfare rather than profit. A market-based economy has private ownership, consumer sovereignty, market allocation of resources, and strong profit motive. A mixed economic system includes both public and private sectors, combines planning with market pricing, and aims for both profit and social welfare. Now we move to sociocultural environment. Sociocultural environment. Culture is a complex whole including knowledge, belief, art, morals, law, customs, and other capabilities learned as a member of society. This matters in international business because consumer behavior, communication style, workplace norms, and negotiation patterns depend on culture. To understand culture, we should know what shapes it. Determinants of culture. Key determinants include religion, work motivation, public policy and laws, individuals and groups, education and language, and social structure. Together, these form cultural norms and value systems, which businesses must understand before entering a foreign market. Now we move to the natural and technological environment. Natural and technological environment. The natural environment includes resources used as inputs that affect marketing and operations. Common concerns include pollution, shortages of raw materials, and increased government intervention. The technological environment refers to how businesses are affected by changes in technology. Technology is the application of knowledge to control or change the environment, and it can be divided into products and processes. Finally, to conclude, we compare protection and liberalization in global business. Protection versus liberalization of global business environment. Protectionism is an economic policy that restrains trade between states using tariffs, quotas, subsidies, and other measures, usually to protect domestic industries. Liberalization means removing trade restrictions to encourage free trade between countries, reducing barriers, and supporting international business. Protection emphasizes domestic rules and restrictions, while liberalization encourages openness and greater international integration. With that, we've completed the foundation of international business: definitions, nature, globalization, and the business environment.